Hi, welcome everybody. How's it going? Welcome to tonight's tonight's webinar, Redefining Health and Wellness. I am really glad that you're here tonight with me. So glad that you've taken some time out on this glorious day. It's so beautiful outside still, to spend some time with me. And it's this topic, redefining health and wellness, is so important. And it's such an important distinction to make. And so I'm really, really excited to share it with you. I'm just going to wait on a few more people showing up. I just want to call your attention to the sidebar on the right-hand side of your screen. There should be a chat box. You can feel free to list any questions that you may have for me. I will do my best to answer them either during the podcast or immediately afterwards. You can also reach me at the website that I listed there, the rockcitywellness.com website, and you can find my email there. If you don't find it, I'll just tell you right now, it's Christine@rockcitywellness.com. And feel free to, shoot me a email or give me any feedback or any ideas that you have to share with me. I'm happy to listen. Okay, so it is 7 o'clock, so we're going to get started. I just wanted to welcome everybody again. I'm thrilled that you could join us tonight, and just wanted to give you a quick overview. This webinar is sponsored by Rock City Wellness, an integrative wellness facility located in Rochester, New York. We have nearly 20 practitioners housed within Rock City Wellness that include acupuncture and chiropractic care, confidence coaching, energy work, functional rehabilitation, massage therapy, and postural alignment. It is a great group of people. I highly recommend you check us out. I'm happy to share the information with you later on in the webinar on how we can stay connected and how you can reach out to us if you'd like to. Like I said, great group of people. We offer lots of options for your wellness goals, and I'm really excited to be a part of that. Okay, so your time is valuable, so let's get started. But before we dive into everything, let me just kind of give you an overview of what we're going to learn today. Okay, I'm hoping that we are going to take a look at the definitions, the similarities, and the differences between health and wellness. It is so important to recognize those distinctions, and I'm excited to share them with you. We're also going to introduce you to the many components of wellness. Wellness is a buzzword that's been going around for a while now. I know I've used it. It's in my business name. And along with that is this buzz phrase called body, mind, and spirit. I'm sure you've heard of it. I'm sure you've said it. I know I've said it. But this is true to a point, this body, mind, and spirit buzz phrase, as it relates to wellness. But there are several more dimensions, if you will, to wellness that contribute to our overall health. And we need to take a look at those. So I'll share those with you in a few minutes. Lastly, I want you to walk away with a tool, with something that you can actually use to make a difference in your life. Okay, I'm hopefully going to bring up some things that you may say, hey, you know what, I can identify with that, and recognize maybe some imbalance in your life. Hopefully not anything horrible, right? But I want you to be able to walk away with something that you can use instantaneously, something that you can say, yeah, I can utilize that right now, and that's going to help create balance within your life, and ultimately will improve your health. So I'm excited to share those with you too. I just want to take a moment to introduce myself so that you know what I'm bringing to the table. Okay, that's me in the right-hand corner, and yes, I am a mother of 5, and yes, they're all mine. I get asked that all the time, and yes, they are all mine. They range in age from 21 all the way down to 5 years old, if you can believe that. So you can probably imagine that I've seen a wide range of health issues over the last 21 years, and an even wider range of wellness practices and imbalances within my own family. So just the past 21 years alone have been a huge teaching opportunity for me, learning opportunity, I should say. And now I'll be able to, teach from those experiences. In 2007, I became a licensed massage therapist in the state of New York and have loved every minute of it. I've got to be honest. The body, the body, and manipulating it to relieve pain and to create ease and comfort just completely blows my mind. I am so excited to be able to do that for people, to provide them some, ease and some relief from pain or chronic, chronic discomfort or whatever. Okay. Being an LMT in the Rochester area, I discovered that we didn't really have any postgraduate support. We have a couple schools, in the surrounding area and surrounding towns, and there wasn't a lot of local interaction with LMTs. We needed like a group that we could rely on and that we could connect with and networking support and business support and continuing education, something like that. Nothing really existed like that. So I founded a not-for-profit called the Rochester Massage Alliance, and I'm happy to report and proudly going to say that we've expanded to the New York Massage Alliance, and we've expanded into Syracuse and hope to go into other cities soon. So if you need us to come to you, we'll be there for you. Just let me know. So we've been doing that for about 3 years now, and that too has been an amazing tool to be able to connect with people that are in the health and wellness industry and to see different perspectives and to see different ways of treating people. It's been eye-opening, and I'm excited to maybe share some of those things that I've learned along the way with you. From my work with the Alliance and working with practitioners that wanted to collaborate with other people and like-minded practitioners, not only for their clients' sake, but to learn from others, Rock City Wellness was born. We've been in business for about 2 years, and from there, we have, it's just blossomed. We have, like I said, we have all those practitioners, almost 20 practitioners on site, and it's a huge range of wellness options that can help you reach your wellness goals. So I kind of run there. And again, it's been a wonderful experience, and I'm quite blessed to be in the position I am in. It sounds like a lot, and it is, but that's okay, because we have a safe place for our clients to come to and to have options. Also on my job list, if you will, is for as long as I can remember, I have been an advocate for health and wellness. I've always wanted the best for people and their goals, so it makes sense that it's my mission to bring in information and options so they can make the best choices for themselves. So that's another thing that I do. And in the beginning of 2015, I began the Aim to Thrive movement, and it centers around our personal wellness goals and how we should aim to thrive instead of just merely survive. So many of us just survive, but life has so much more to offer than that. So I want to explain this Aim to Thrive movement just for a minute or two, and then we'll move on to what we're really here for. But AIM actually stands for Always Initiate Movement. And it's my wholeheartedly belief that if you can always make a choice to get a little further ahead, to maybe have an apple instead of a cookie, or maybe take 5 minutes out to quiet your mind down instead of, going on to the next task, or reaching out to a friend instead of not reaching out to that friend, always initiating movement, always initiating progress, then you are going to be on the road to ultimate wellness. And on that road, at the end of it, and all the way throughout, is health. And I'll explain that in a few minutes. But so Aim to Thrive is very, very important to me, and I'm excited to share this with you. And through education and through webinars like this, we're going to be thriving, okay, together. And I am, like I said, thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, I did leave up our website up on the URL on the right hand side. If you can also chat in the chat box if you need to, and I will do my best to get to those questions as we go on. Okay, so enough about me. Now let's take a look at why understanding the difference between health and wellness is so important. Okay, and let's see what the cost is going to be if you don't recognize the difference between the two. And not having the knowledge of the different components of wellness, this could cost you. So I really want to share this with you. So let's take a look at some scenarios. Have you ever felt too tired to play with your kids? I know I have. It's awful to see their disappointment in the faces of my beautiful children. And I can tell you from experience that my parents were often too tired too. And that is what I remember most, sadly. And not the times that they actually played with me, but the times that they didn't. That is not a life filled with wellness. Now, don't get me wrong, my parents were great parents, but they had issues, like we all do. They didn't necessarily want to, aim to thrive, though. It's just their generation's, way of dealing with things, or certain things, or whatever else. But it was not a life filled with wellness, nor was it a healthy one. There's an imbalance there. If you're too tired to play with your children, there's an imbalance there that needs to be corrected. So you can make those connections. You can create those memories, and that's what the kids, are going to remember. You want those memories to be in their mind, not the ones of lack, right? Now, what about this scenario? Do you know somebody that's not happy in their job? I know a lot of people that are not happy in their job, and it breaks my heart. The common pattern amongst them is that they struggle with finding joy and meaning in a job that they hate. And can you blame them? I know I can't. What happens, however, is that this job has sucked the life out of them all day long. And when they return home or to a non-job time, it takes so long to recover from the imbalance created by this awful job and these awful stifling, feelings that they're experiencing. By the time that they're back in balance, so to speak, kind of back up to where they normally are, it's time to go back to work. It's a ridiculously vicious cycle that eventually is going to seep into other aspects of their lives and often will manifest in illness. I see this all the time. People come into the office and they're chronically ill and they can't figure out why. And then we start asking questions. Are you fulfilled in your job? Are you fulfilled in your relationships? Or, are you mourning, the loss of a friend or a loved one? And 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. So something to think about. Or what about this scenario? I know I am very often guilty of this. You're feeling overwhelmed. It seems that everybody needs a piece of you and wants your attention. And all you want to do is run. So what do? You procrastinate. You avoid. You make excuses. Right? Does this sound familiar? This is not a balanced life. This imbalance will eventually lead to many dimensions of your wellness to be compromised and ultimately create suffering, either mental or physical or both even. And you're sabotaging your own success and wellness because of this imbalanced life. Again, I promise you I'll explain more later. But in each of these scenarios, there was an imbalance of wellness, not health. Okay, that's an important distinction to make. This imbalance ultimately leads to disease, which compromises your health. Okay? There is something in the physical body that finally says, all right, I give up, you win, and your resistance lowers and invites viruses or infections in. So these are rudimentary examples, and things are obviously much more complicated on how the whole system works between wellness and health and all of that. But what I really want you to do is try to connect with one of these scenarios and start to think about, how is your health? How is your wellness? Do you have wellness goals? Do you see or experience any imbalance right now in your life that maybe you could take a look at? Okay, try to connect with that. Okay, and then the other thing I want you to connect with is the cost of the imbalance worth it? Is not knowing what your goals are, or not knowing how you can get healthy, or not knowing all of the important components of wellness. Is that cost that you're voluntarily paying, right? Is that worth it? Or do you really want to create optimum health and wellness in your life? If you're anything like me, I'm going to open door number 2. And I hope you do too. I think you want to, because that's why you're here. Okay? So when people think of health and wellness, they often combine them and use them synonymously. And I am urging you not to. Please, please, please do not. It's so important to distinguish between the two of them. Okay, even though people really kind of see them as the same concept, they actually have entirely different meanings. So let's dive into those meanings. So a long time ago, years and years and years ago, the American Medical Association called the definition of health as the absence of disease. Well, it's no longer that simple, and I'm so grateful. And actually, on a side note, I just want to share this with you because I thought this was very interesting. But in the 14th century, the French actually coined the term disease, which means a lack of comfort. And it wasn't until the 17th century that English translation actually made it disease, or what we know as today as disease. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's something to share with you. Okay, so but now now the World Health Organization is saying that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And I am thrilled about this because it really gives a positive range of health well beyond the absence of sickness. So it's good news for our understanding, and it's it's just fabulous news, period. I'll leave it at that. But something I want you to remember as we go forward is that health is measurable. And this, I really, really cannot stress this enough. I'm going to say it again. Health is measurable. Think about that for a minute. You go to the doctor and you say you're experiencing symptoms, let's say with your lungs. And what does the doctor do immediately? He listens to your lungs, he or she rather. And if you hear something, you go for more testing, right? And they measure your oxygen capacity, and they measure your blood flow, and they measure, your complete blood count, and all of these things. And then they say, well, you're either healthy or you're not healthy. Okay, so just something to really hone in on. Health is measurable. Okay, let's talk about wellness now. Wellness, as it's defined in the dictionary, is called or said the quality or state of being healthy in body and mind, especially as a result of a deliberate effort. And I love this. I love the last part of this first sentence, especially as a result of a deliberate effort, because it implies that we have a choice, and we do. That is what wellness is all about. If you get nothing out of today except for wellness is a choice and health is measurable, then we're good to go. Okay, but I'm hoping to over deliver that. Okay, I'm going to deliver a lot more than that, I hope. The second part of the definition is it's an approach to healthcare that emphasizes preventing illness and prolonging life as opposed to emphasizing treating illness. So again, fantastic words that indicate that it is a choice. You want to nip things in the bud before they get, too far along. You don't want a chronic illness. Nobody wants a chronic illness. So there are things that you can do in the meantime to help prevent them. Okay? Okay, so about a month ago or 3 weeks or so ago, a friend of mine, a great guy named John Hutchings, who owns Fitness Edge Media, asked me to be on his radio show. And if you ever get a chance to listen to it, I highly recommend it. In Rochester, New York, it is on ESPN. It's on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock. And he asked me to come on and talk about our wellness center and the concept of health versus wellness. I was thrilled to. I was so excited. He asked me to say my definition of wellness. Now I can, write out, 20 different stock definitions. No problem, right? That's my industry. That's what I know. But he goes, no, I want to hear it from you in your words. So I sat down and wrote it, and this is what I came up with. And so my 2 cents on wellness is that wellness is subjective perception of our interdependent wellness components with the driving intention of thriving and creating health based on those balanced components. Now, it's wordy and it's complicated, but let me break it down for you, because it really isn't that complicated. My kids look at it and go, "Yeah, I don't understand any of that." So I'm sure you do, but let me just say it in a different way so that we can just solidify it in our heads. So wellness is subjective. It is what we feel is our ultimate, goals. Our wellness is our own. It's independent for each person. Your goals, your wellness goals, and my wellness goals are completely different, and that's okay. There may be some aspects of our goals, some wellness components that are going to be similar. So we're on a similar road during those particular, times, and that's great. It's great to have support, but I can guarantee you that your wellness goals and my wellness goals are completely different. And that's okay. There's no judgment there whatsoever, because there shouldn't be, first of all. And second of all, there doesn't have to be. It's what makes us all unique. Nobody can judge how we want to be well, right? And so and the interdependent wellness components, I'll explain in the next couple slides. There's a wellness wheel that I want to share with you that really kind of ties in everything that we are going. There's a wellness wheel that is that ties everything in together, that makes up our wellness and ultimately drives us into great health. Okay, this driving intention piece speaks to the fact that we want to be here. We want this. We want to thrive. Okay, we want to do well. We want to be contributing members to society, and the only way to do that is to be at our best, right? And so that's that part. And then creating health based on those balanced components. We are at our optimum health when we have been able to create as much balance as we possibly can in our lives. And that is an amazing road to optimum health. When everything is aligned, which, don't get me wrong, nothing's ever aligned, right? I've never met anybody that's in perfect balance. But when we do our best, to try and work towards that balance, then our chances of a healthy, optimum life dramatically increase. So those are my 2 cents. It's a little bit longer than 2 cents, more like 5 cents, but that's okay. So remember this. Remember when I said health is measurable? Well, wellness is a conscious choice, okay, and it's completely subjective. So when I was on the radio show, I was telling John that you can be healthy and not well, and you can also have wellness and not be healthy. So I wanted to share a story with you about you can have wellness and be unhealthy, and maybe this concept will drive it home for you a little bit. I had a client a few years back, and measurable assessment means, going to her doctor. She wasn't feeling well, and they did a mammogram, and they discovered that she had metastasized breast cancer. It was in early stages of the metastases, but still had metastasized. It really, upset her, obviously, and the doctors wanted to put her into surgery by the end of the week. And she said no. And so she made a deal with her doctors. She said, I want to do things my way. I want to try things out my way for a month, and I'll come back. And if the cancer has progressed or not changed, then we'll go from there. So the doctors agreed. She was still early enough in the metastasis process that they let her go for a month. And obviously, really, it's her own body, so there's really nothing they could have done. So that being said, she went home. She changed her diet. She exercised more regularly every single day. I think she walked for an hour, she said. She started to meditate every single day. She went into counseling so that she was able to really get a handle on like a healthy handle on what was happening to her body and how it was affecting everything, she started reaching out to her friends. She actually got more involved in the job that she had. She has a small business in the Finger Lakes, and she got more involved because it brought her life and it made her happy. And she went back after a month, and the cancer has started to shrink. And so the doctors were amazed. She was thrilled, of course. But it just speaks to the power of what our bodies are able to do if we let it. If we give it the tools and the opportunity to let itself heal. Now, I will tell you this, that I do not recommend this. A little disclaimer, I do not, I don't recommend you doing that without your doctor's permission and your doctor's knowledge. If you are sick, you really need to, check things out with your primary care physician or your, health team, whoever you're working with. But what I think is so remarkable, again, is the power that the body has, the power that your efforts, your choices really make towards your overall health. All right, so moving on, let's talk about the similarities that the health and wellness have together. And I'm going to tell you what, there's only one. There's only one, and that's why it's so important not to use them interchangeably. Health and wellness truly only represent the overall state of the individual. Okay, and again, the health represents the overall state that can be measured. Okay, and then wellness is the overall state of their choices, of their way of living. And that's really it. I just can't believe it, but that's really, really it. Okay, now let's talk about the differences. Okay, the differences between health and wellness are vast, but I'm going to give you the three main ones. Okay, like I said before, the state of being is what health is all about. What is the body doing? How's the body reacting? Is the body, does it have a virus? Is its blood count down? Is it up? Is it, is the body in a state of health or, lack of disease? Okay. And the wellness is your way of living, the choices you make, the things that you do to contribute to your wellness. Okay. When we talk about health, we normally are talking about a reactive state. So, perfect example is you're having chest pain, so you go to urgent care or your doctor to see if you're having a heart attack. Okay, that's a reactive action in order to, assess what's going on in your body. With wellness, you do stuff before that pain happens to try to, prolong your life, to prolong or put off, situations that may occur like heart attacks or strokes or whatever. You're doing things to create wellness in your body, which ultimately, has an environment or creates an environment in your body that health can sit in and move in and settle in and disease can move out. Okay. So the quality of life, and when we're talking about health, is determined by lack of disease. So I don't know anybody that is 100% healthy all of the time. So your quality of life is measured by lack of disease. Is that really what you want? I don't think so. But your quality of life with wellness is chosen. You decide how you get to live your life. You could decide every day, if it's going to be a good day or if it's going to be a day. And sometimes we have those days. But again, you make those choices. And again, it leads to the balance that you're creating. This is my favorite part, and it's a lot of pretty colors, but 7 components of wellness. I'm so excited to share these with you, and we're just going to touch upon them. I'm just going to introduce you to this module because to go in depth for each component will take several more hours, and I know we don't have that, and I know your time is valuable, and I don't want to take up more of your time, but look for future webinars. for each one of these. Our next one is actually March 25th at 1 o'clock, and we're going to be talking about the first one, the intellectual and mental component of wellness. Now, this is your ability to recognize reality and the ability to cope and adjust to the demands of daily life. It also represents your confidence and self-esteem and the ability to add tools to your tool chest through education, challenges, and seeking ways to improve yourself and skills. Okay, that's an important part. We need to be able to cope, right? So look for that on March 25th. It's going to be up on our website. You can sign up for that on Facebook and our website by the end of the week. All right. The second component is your physical body, and how is it moving? How is it functioning, and how are you treating it? Are you nourishing it? Are you engaging in activities that are questionable, like drugs or alcohol or cigarettes or whatever? What's your nutrition like? Are you working out? Are you engaging in exercise that is going to make you stronger? Things like that. That's what we think of when we think of our physical component. The next is our social component. Now, some may be like, what? Why is that important? But it represents the quality of your relationships. And I think it is a valid point because, how are your relationships? If you're in an abusive relationship, that adds an enormous amount of stress. It adds fear. It adds desperation. And that creates such an imbalance that you will not be well. You will not, and you probably will wind up getting sick, and have chronic illnesses. And we see that so often. And I'm sorry, I just want to fix everybody. so it's such a huge and important part of our wellness is the quality of our relationships. So we'll dive more into that. I could go on and on about that, but I won't. So moving on to environmental component is your air, food, and water clean. We take that for granted sometimes, but I think of third world countries and their food and water are not clean whatsoever, and they're sickly, and it's not hard to figure out why, right? And take it a step further, is the place that you reside or play or work, is that safe and enjoyable for you? If it's not safe and enjoyable for you, things need to change. There's an imbalance there, and we need to fix that, right? Now, this fifth one, the occupational component, they added just a little bit ago. It used to be 6 components of wellness, but the 7th one is now occupational. And I'm so glad they did, because it speaks to our personal fulfillment in our jobs and career. And so many people are moving towards doing what they love and not doing what they have to. Now, I completely respect both sides of the coin, right? I had a dad, he worked extraordinarily hard at a job that I know was not his dream job. He wanted to be a history professor. Was he ever a history professor? No, but he did it in other ways. But he went to work every day for 30 some odd years and was good at it and made the best of it. So, but not everybody wants to do that, right? So the movement is towards having a vacation and having a career that we absolutely love and connect with. I am blessed to have that. I am blessed to be in a position where I can do what I love. And if I could do it 7 days a week, I would. But then there's all those other responsibilities, right? So, but, part of our vocational or occupational component is being able to contribute and to make a positive difference in the world. And again, if we're not doing that, there's that lack there. There's that imbalance. The 6th component is spiritual. Now, I'm just going to do a precursor here and let you know that I'm not going to talk to you about religion. Okay? I think spiritual is much more about who you are as a person and what makes you special and unique. That's your spirit. That's your inner spirit. Okay? And it's also about maintaining harmonious relationships with other living beings and having direction. It also represents our ethics and our morals and our values. It's what makes us who we are. And I think that's so important to have a handle on that. Because often that is the only thing that we have, right? And the other 6 components are lacking. but our spirituality and our connection within ourself is what is above, balance. And so I think that's so important to have as part of our wellness wheel. Number 7 is, and lastly, is the emotional component. This is about how we experience emotions and if we can express them in a positive and non destructive way. Now, when I hear this, a non destructive way, I instantly think of Facebook. And raise your hand, where you are if you agree. But I think of all of the passive aggressive posts that I see, and the bashing and whatever else. And I've tried to really eliminate those from my newsfeed because that's not what I want in my life, right? So by hiding them or unfriending them or whatever I do, depending on the situation, I'm creating balance because I don't need to see that, nor do I want to see that. I'm surrounding myself rather, with positive and uplifting people because that is what I want to create in my life. That's part of my wellness goal, right? So, but not being able to express our emotions can be detrimental. And I think you could probably, think of a few occasions that you've experienced where that would be the case. All right. Does somebody have any questions so far? We good? All right. You're doing good. We're almost done, so hang in there. Okay. So now I want you to just take a minute and I want you to think about how are you going to be able to use, how can I put this? How are you going to be able to implement some of the changes that you need to do? Have you thought of something that might be an imbalance in your life? Did any of these components ring, true to you and say, oh yeah, I need some work in there? I want you to take a moment right now and figure out how you might aim to thrive, right? Back to the always initiate movement. How are you going to take the steps knowing that you can make a difference in your life? What are you going to choose to make a difference in your life? Okay. Will you start working out again? Will you start walking again now that it's getting a little bit nicer outside? Even a 10-minute walk every day makes a difference. Okay. Will you avoid risky behaviors? Like cigarettes and drugs and alcohol? Now, I'm guessing that if you're wanting to learn more about health and wellness, you're probably not engaging in those behaviors, but it's just an example. Are you receiving body work? Now, and I bring this up because body work slows down the mind just long enough so that you can actually hear what the body has to say. We, do have 15 massage therapists at the office, but in all different, capacities. But and what I mean by hearing what the body has to say is pain is usually the last symptom that you want. Our body creates signals for us to pay attention to kind of get our minds wrapped around this. Something may be askew, or something may be in balance, or a joint may be in balance, or back is tight, or whatever. And pain is, like I said, the last symptom that you want. But if you can take the time to slow it down and listen to what the body has to say, you'll be more in tune with your body. You'll be able to make choices to create wellness in your body a lot sooner than if you're in a chronic state of pain or discomfort. Then it takes that much longer, right, to get back to balance. So I really, really, really encourage you to seek out body work. And that could be through massage therapy. It could be through chiropractic care. It could be through Reiki. It could be through acupuncture, any of them. They're all very viable, fantastic modalities. And then another thing is, have you thought about meditation? I meditate, or I try to meditate 5 minutes a day. I know some people that are meditating for an hour a day. I have not graduated to that level yet, but even 5 minutes creates a sense of peace that I know I can go back to at any minute. And it's 5 minutes. It's not going to wreck my day. It's not going to take, if I'm 5 minutes late to something, so what? At least I'll be calm, right? And then just knowing how to kind of turn in to your mind and quiet it, and kind of let everything fall by the wayside is such a gift. How many times have we lost our cool over something so silly or stupid, or I have my husband got crazy angry, not crazy, but a little upset with the guy at the post office. And he even said, if I had just taken a few minutes to just calm myself down, it would have been fine. So often it's just those, even 2 or 3 minutes to just meditate, say a chant, or say a favorite phrase, or say a favorite Bible verse, or whatever is going to bring you back in, and bring you back to your values and to balance, and remember that wellness goal, right? And it just so happens that we have meditation. We actually started a meditation practice last night, and so we'll be having it the second Tuesday of every month. So we'd love for you to join us if you'd like to. The other suggestion is, what about a gratitude journal, or just enjoying life more? It sounds cliche, but it's so true. If you can appreciate what you have been granted already, you tend to find joy in smaller things instead of looking for a bigger prize. So I really want you to take a look at these things. And if you have come up with something else, I want you to share them with me. I would love for you to share them with me. In a few minutes, I'm going to share with you ways that we can stay connected through Facebook and Twitter and all that. And I'd love for you to shout me out an email, or send me a tweet, or send me a message on Facebook and say, this is what I'm going to do. And if we're accountable to each other, we tend to do better. So let's do that. I'm going to share a couple things that I'm going to do in a few minutes after we're done here, and I invite you to do the same. And if you want to make it private, if you want to make it anonymous, I invite you to send me a private message on Facebook, or send me an email, and with your permission, I'll share it, but obviously not your name. So just think about a couple things that you're going to do to aim to thrive, a couple things that you're going to do to initiate more wellness and create balance in your life. Okay, so let's just have a little recap before we end our night together. Health is measurable. Remember, way back in the beginning, we talked about that. Health is measurable, and it is so important to remember that we can create health, we can create health by having our balanced wellness, but health is really like the end goal. Okay, we can't have one without the other. And we create wellness by the choices we make, and hopefully we're all going to make really good ones, right? And we need to have balance. We need to have all of our components kind of in a flexible balance to create optimum health. And that, I think, is what we all want, right? We all want to be healthy. We all want to be disease free. We all want to be able to be walking through life not with a chronic illness or a chronic disease, because that drains you beyond repair sometimes, and none of us want that, right? So those are the things we talked about. We're going to be talking a lot more in future webinars, and going to be really focusing in on each individual component. So I invite you to come back for those. Okay, and I really want to stay connected with you. I've had so much fun tonight, and I really want to continue the conversation. So you can find us on Facebook. You can connect with us on Twitter. Both have the same handle, Rock City Wellness. We also have a meetup group if you belong to Meetup, and it's the Rock City Wellness Community Education Group. You can also check out all of our offerings and our team players or our practitioners on rockcitywellness.com. And then, like I said before, we will be posting our other webinars soon. The next one rather, is March 25th at 1 o'clock. And we'll have them about every other week through the rest of the year. We're going to be expanding on those components. And then we're also going to be bringing in some local experts, some of which actually work in the office. So it's like, 2 webinars in one. It's going to be amazing. So I've had so much fun with you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you taking the time out and spending these 44 minutes with me. I have a lot to say. Thank you so much for listening. I can't believe we went over. My goal was like 30 minutes, but it's fun to talk about stuff that you love, right? So again, reach out. if you'd like to. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I hope you have a really good night. All right, be well and stay connected. Take care.